They said that was a loan repayment. Oh yeah, everything's a loan repayment. Well, why did Hunter Biden will have an opportunity in deposition to come in and explain that?
Memorialized in emails that you guys leaked from Hunter Biden's laptop.
Thank you.
I would like to have asked Hunter Biden about Mann Act violations, sex trafficking women across state lines.
Thank you all very much. Thank you.
That would have been a good question. You don't seem to care about that, though.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we are all used to, at this point, Marjorie Greene being ignored by people on the other side of the aisle. But that was an amazing moment where her allies had no interest in the BS that she was trying to peddle. It was such a scrum of activity and questions being shouted. And then the second she started talking about Hunter Biden doing sex trafficking, the reporters aren't interested, the camera starts to look away. Jim Jordan suddenly has to get to lunch. That dude's really hungry at that point. But anyway, that's really what Marjorie Greene deserves. Who knows what she's talking about with the sex trafficking? What we know is that she is very, very obsessed with Hunter Biden in a weird way. I will remind you that she was the one holding up images like this on the House floor. She was seemingly obsessed with the fact that Hunter Biden has, and these reports have been confirmed, been naked in his life. She was super into it. And honestly, I think it answers the question of why it is that Hunter Biden yesterday said he's only going to testify in public. He doesn't want to do a closed door session. Would you want to be in a closed door session with no rolling cameras with Marjorie Greene knowing her obsession with you and how hyper focused it is on your sex life? I don't think so. But anyway, the investigation of Hunter Biden rolls on. It's now being tied, of course, to the just authorized impeachment inquiry into President Biden. That was a vote that was conducted yesterday and passed along party lines. So they're going after Hunter. Now they are going after an excuse to go after Joe. Wosny, what do you think?
Just your classic smear campaign. There's obviously nothing criminal to tie to Joe Biden, but some of his family members, his son especially, are a little bit embarrassing, right? I understand why they think that this is gonna be some kind of black mark, but you would hope that an impeachment inquiry would be because there was suspicion of some constitutional violation by the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States. So far, they have brought forth zero such evidence, again, which makes me believe that they're just trying to keep this in the news to further embarrass Joe Biden via his son.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of evidence to that point. Now, they say that linking these two things actually makes sense. And in fact, they say that Hunter Biden this week refusing to do closed door testimony is actually a reason that they need to look more into Joe. They said today's obstruction by Hunter Biden reinforces the need for a formal vote. Okay, so I guess the argument is supposed to be that one of the many things that they are alleging Joe Biden did and thus far cannot provide any evidence for is that he has interfered with their investigations into Hunter Biden. Again, Hunter Biden is not involved in the administration. Nobody seems to know why exactly we're supposed to be so worried about what a private citizen does, but they would say it's that link, and the president can't, try to slow roll investigations or get them derailed, which I, on principle, agree with. I will remind you, however, that not a single one of these Republicans cared when Donald Trump literally fired the head of the FBI who was looking into him, and then went and said to the Russian ambassador that now the cloud that was over them has been lifted because he fired the head of the FBI. They didn't care about that. They didn't care about the fact that Donald Trump literally never testified in that investigation. I mean, again, the idea that this is supposed to be some principle where they want to make sure that no one is using their political office to advantage or protect their family members is obviously not true. No right winger actually believes that. It's what was said. It's like there's a fig leaf of excuse for what is. It would be generous to call it a fishing expedition. I don't think they think there are any fish in the lake. They just want to get in the boat because the election's coming, and who wouldn't want to be in a boat for those photo ops? Was.
Look, the proof that you have, guys, that nobody actually cares if the president's kids or in-laws are benefiting from his seat in office. Look no further than Jared Kushner, who had an official position within the administration along with his wife, Ivanka Trump Kushner, I guess we're calling her. And he was doing all kinds of foreign relations with the Saudis and Israel, etc. The second that man left office, he got hundreds of millions of dollars in investments from the Saudi royal family. I mean, this is obvious. The stuff that Hunter Biden was doing in Ukraine was chump change and small potatoes in compared to the blatant and obvious corruption coming out of the previous administration, which nobody seems to care about.
100%. The Jared Kushner stuff, totally accurate. Reports this week placed the amount that Donald Trump earned through the course of his presidency from foreign deals at $160 million. Like, can you imagine if Joe Biden had done anything like that? There were foreign leaders literally buying out floors of his hotels, buying up his overpriced apartments. Again, if Joe Biden had done literally any of this, they're talking about payments, reimbursed payments for a truck. And they're ignoring this absolute mountain of corruption. And by the way, let me just say for context again, because I understand that there are people, like you can go on CNN or MSNBC or whatever, and perhaps see someone talking about this rough story and maybe agreeing with like Woz and me that this is a fishing expedition. But it's not because like I love Joe Biden and don't think he's done anything wrong. I just think that if you're going to focus on the things he's done wrong, they should be based in reality and not some fantasy land. And also it's not because I don't think that Hunter Biden hasn't tried to use his family connections to benefit himself. I've never seen any good explanation as to why he was hired for any of the positions that he's held. It's 100% because of his last name, but that is not actually something the Republicans are against. They want their kids to be advantaged in the exact same way that Hunter Biden is. They don't actually want to shut it down so that family members and associates of well-connected politicos aren't getting deals and contracts and all that. They desperately want that. They want the speaking fees. They want the overpriced book deals. They want the cushy lobbying gigs. They just, in this very specific case, don't like that Hunter Biden tried and seemingly failed to actually tie Joe Biden to it. So again, it's the same story we see every single day. It is things that are masquerading as principles that are not, that are highly contingent, little specific issues that they have. Meanwhile, they want to do nothing whatsoever to change the status quo of corruption that they and their friends benefit from. Woz?
I mean, that's perfectly put. Obviously, they kicked out George Santos from Congress this past week or so because the corruption was so blatant. And I think the message was sent like, dude, there's a way to do this corruption thing. That's just not the way. And as you explained, John, of course, family members getting kickbacks. I mean, we're not gonna talk about Obama's kid being on Donald Glover's writing staff. I mean, it's all over the place. The back scratching and the favor doing and all of that stuff is all over the place. Again, even Obama, we can go to after he leaves office, he gets like 150 million, I think, or maybe 200. I don't remember the exact figures, but it's in the 100 millions for his personal shrine to himself from Jeff Bezos. This is our government. This is our quote unquote democracy at work, guys. And so, this idea that these people care about corruption it's a joke, it's a farce.
100% joke. And look, that's a really good example of like a massive amount of money from effectively a singular person representing one company, but it's all floor to ceiling corruption. Every paid speech that they do for the rest of their life. That's insane that they're allowed to be given $50,000 to speak for 45 minutes or whatever. I don't think I understand that my solution to this is too radical for probably anyone, even on my side. I am perfectly happy with a constitutional amendment demanding a literal vow of poverty for anyone serving in elected office on a federal level. I'm perfectly happy that you will never exceed a middle-class lifestyle, and that is the cost that is expected of you if you are going to be a part of America's government, because you are not supposed to be getting into that position to benefit yourself and your kids. You're supposed to be doing work for the American people, for your constituents at the very least. Ideally, you'd have some sort of conception of the national good. And the fact that that's a non-starter says everything that you need to know about these people. They are just self-serving, overly ambitious people predisposed to corruption. And that is a status quo that it doesn't matter how many times Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro and whatever, Charlie Kirk say that they're populists and they hate the elites and they want to stop all. No, they love that. They love that and desperately want to benefit from that system in the same way that the politicians are. But I want to turn more to what we can expect from the actual investigation into Joe Biden. It was, as I said, party line vote 221 to 212. This is just to look into whether sufficient grounds exist to impeach Joe Biden. I will remind you, they have been looking into this for years at this point. I guess they weren't doing it in a committee room. That's probably what's gonna tip the scales though. And not everyone is convinced that this is gonna work. Senator Shelley Moore Capito said, I don't see the evidence there. The House is gonna do what the House is gonna do. I don't have any influence. Which is true, as a senator. Senator Romney said there hasn't been evidence yet of wrongdoing by President Biden himself. If they uncover that evidence, which they may, that would be truly critical and important, but we haven't seen that yet. Sure, well, it's easy for the senators to say that. The House members all need to pretend that they think they're gonna find something damning in his closet. But Waz, what do you think?
I love that. I love that Mitt Romney statement. They haven't found a single thing. They might, you never know. They might. And if they did, that would be significant. But until then, I got nothing for you.
100%, yeah.